Hello everybody, my name is Margaret. Welcome to my channel. You are on BookTube. I hope you're happy to be here and as book obsessed as the rest of us. So today, I'm 5 days later than everybody. I guess I'll get used to that. I hope nobody minds. I'm doing my January wrap-up and February TBR before it gets to be patently obvious that I won't achieve it. So, the January wrap-up. Well, to give you an idea, those are all the books. That's my little Bujo spread for those who are interested. I'll do the rapid fire method because I'm not going to talk about them all in detail. I started in December but finished Moon of the Crusted Snow by W.E.B. Raife. Excellent. The Pit by Frank Norris. It's more of a research book. Death of the Banker by Ron Chernow. Meh. Peace, Love, and Maki Rolls by J.D. Estrada, fellow booktuber. Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Chunkster, escapism all the way, very good. Stamped, Racism, Anti-Racism, and You by Ibram X. Kendi and Jason Reynolds, very good. How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams, excellent, totally engrossing romance. Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor, and I'll just group these all together. Jane Austen Detective Mystery Number 1, Number 2, and Number 3. Reading in Bed by Brian Doyle. I've done a dramatic reading from this before. Again, I continue to just pick away at it one at a time and not really concerned about finishing it. Remaking America, which is mostly a picture book with a lot of historical information on architecture, so that was research. Persephone's Orchard by Molly Ringel. She's a fellow author in the Northwest. She was at the Yola Book Afloat. Skinned Bird by Chelsea Biondolillo, fellow author, not at Yola Book Afloat. Trace by Laurette Savoy, excellent. Sociology, one of my favorite niches, combining landscape, memory, race, culture, personal import. Just really interesting and stuff I had never thought of before, and history I'd never heard of before, so really good. More Austen, we had Austen Land by Shannon Hale, which was my buddy read this month, with Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, which was wonderful. It was very quick, it's like less than 200 pages, and we had a fun discussion, and I'll link that in the cards so you can see our live, because we had lots of fun, and I dressed up. And Berna is the only one who may know what this is. Isn't it pretty? I've been here! Like miniature me, like right there. It was really cool. The final Austen is Persuasion. This is my annotated version. I did the book tag made by Amrita by the Book, and we had a fun Discord server chat one Saturday, and so that was super fun too. Bringing up the rear, we had Lean Out by Tara Henley, which was excellent. Maybe my niche is like surveys that have personal content, because this started out like a investigation of modern city life and why it is harmful to humans, and turned into a personal journey and went into our tribalism as people and the internet and isolation and income inequality and like all these things that are like right on my list of social issues that I want to help combat or that I feel need combating. And so this was so good. That wasn't a very good review, but that's my off-the-cuff review. And for Buzzwordathon for January, the word was dream, so I just chucked this in here and I will unhaul it now because it was weird and just okay, so yeah. But hey, I participated in something. We'll see if February's book gets any better. The last mass market paper was Belonging, Scottish romance, comfort read. Stayed up until 2 a.m. Obviously, it was a long day. And then back to social commentary, Shakespeare in a Divided America by James Shapiro. And that one I finished on February 1st, so I guess I'll go into it in February. But it's in my January. I don't know how to do this yet. And now, because February is going to take a while, I'll just jump right in. There's lots of things to want to cover in February. Apparently there's something called Historathon, which I have not gone through and marked any of my books for, but there are lots of prompts for it, so it will be a partial completion, as well as most of the ones for Black History Month. I have 4 pools, maybe 5, to pull from, which are basically, I have books that I own from Black authors that I want to deploy this February for Black History Month. So that will be first and foremost my concern to read. Second, Seiji at the Artists and Geeks channel has a Black Lit Challenge, and it's very simple. It's trying to get you to read books written by authors from different countries, so not just the US and the UK, as well as marginalized voices, which is excellent in many different ways, and so you get points for different ones of those. As an example, I think this is how mine will, if I complete all these, I think this is how mine would come out. So I'm reading my stack for February. So my stack for February includes my Patreon book club pick, Mitchell S. Jackson's Survival Math, and this would qualify as 2 points because this is a Black author from the US, but it's also nonfiction, so that was one of her categories. So that's 2. And I started reading The Souls of Black Folk already. That doesn't get me any points because it's also nonfiction and also US, and that will qualify for the Buzzwordathon word for February, which is any word that is a color. Easy to do when it's also Black History Month, right? I have Descent as a reread because this is a collection of poetry that is new, that I pre-ordered, sort of wanting to support the artist, and she's great, and I think I'll get more out of it reading it through again after a year of growth. This would qualify for 1 point because it's a US author, but it's poetry? I mean, it's a mix. It's a very, well, this is the preview, so I'll tell you more about it after I've read it again. 1 extra point. We have Invisible Man, which is a US author and fiction, so no extra points, but I have it, and I've been meaning to read it for years and haven't. And since it's called The Invisible Man, I wanted to pair it up with something that I got more recently called Invisible by Stephen L. Carter, which is the forgotten story of the Black woman lawyer who took down America's most powerful mobster, which sounds excellent. So kind of like true crime, but also just like history. I'm not really into true crime, but anything like a takedown of people in power who are abusing it, yes! That is also US and nonfiction, so no more points. Then I have I Am Not Your Negro by James Baldwin. And I'm not sure about this one. It would get an extra point because it's LGBTQ community, but it's texts that he wrote that were turned into a movie. So it's kind of like a screenplay. So I'm not sure. She doesn't have a category for screenplay, but there's like poetry play, and so I'm going to count this for 2. So that brings me to 5 with 5 books, which is pretty good. So that is just for my second point, Seiji at the Artists and Geeks challenge. There's 2 more. And the third one is Blackathon by Bowties and Books and Company, because there's lots of hosts for that one. There's teams and, I don't know, an obstacle course and stuff. It's very involved, so again, only partial completion because I want to participate, but it's a short month, y'all. The 3 teams I've decided to pick and choose from because I'm not all in any one of them. They're science fiction and fantasy, nonfiction, and thriller, the ones that I'm interested in. So, for Blackathon, I anticipate maybe being able to read The Deep, which is science fiction and fantasy, for the SFF prompt, and maybe Crosshairs for the thriller prompt, and I already said I'm reading nonfiction, so we'll see where those get distributed. I am less of a schedule reader and more of a mood reader, so having so many prompts or assignments, we'll see how it goes. I think that I will end up being very flexible and floating between, and again, partial completion, hey, at least you're trying and raising up the profiles of these people who are doing these great things, right? And then the 4th one is Black Authors by Steph's Romance Book Talk. This one is very romance focused, and I haven't read too many romances lately. Again, like, there's this 1 a month. Nope, 2, because How to Fail at Flirting was really good. So I've cut back on the romances, but she has 19 prompts and 6 actions, and the actions are basically helping raise the profile of Black creators on YouTube and other social media platforms, and that I can definitely help to do, so I expect to do a few of those actions and help that way. And then finally, I know Books by Lanus. My number 5 is her Black History book tag. Sariella already put it out. She's so on the ball. I don't know. One of the things I am trying for February to get extra content in is doing February Friday lives. So it's like Friday night lives, like Friday night lights, but maybe Amrita will like this. Yeah, Friday night lives, and I'll do it at night, so it may be too late or early for some people. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to work in sea shanties and Jim's A to J book tag, whatever else I can't fit in other places. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so that's my five goals for February in 4 weeks, and we're already 3 days in. And basically, I'm just aiming to be visibly supportive of the Black creator community. To that end, next month's wrap-up will not only include the pile of books that I have managed to climb, but also my list of favorite Black History Month videos, and I'm going to be consuming a lot of those, and I'll just give a playlist of the ones that I thought were great, and help people find some new channels maybe by Black creators, so that should be good. So if you see some, send them to me on Twitter, and I will be happy to discover new channels as well. So that is my hefty list, and I think that's everything. Jane Austen Detective Mystery, Jane Austen Detective, Lean Out, my Patreon book club. Oh, and I forgot to say, I'll put this in the beginning. Tweet them to me, and I made